Hey, welcome back to our last week of our Boy Meets Girl series. This has been a series that I genuinely hope is connected with you in a meaningful way, because like we said at the outset of this deal, I don't care who you are, I don't care how old you are, and I don't care what your relationship status is. When your romantic relationships aren't healthy, your spiritual life isn't healthy. God has called us to have a healthy, obedient relationship with Him. And how we conduct ourselves with the people that we date or are married to is a vital part of that. You can't pretend to ignore your romantic relationships over here and pursue God over here. They're connected, right? And so this week, we're going to talk about a really difficult aspect of romantic relationships that is very different in Scripture than it is in culture. This week, we're going to talk about divorce. Listen, we live in a culture that has made divorce largely accessible and marriage easily disposable. Just this week, we saw a culture kind of highlight a celebrity divorce where they said, listen, love is a magical journey and we're still in love, but we're gonna have an unconscious decoupling and go our separate ways in this magical journey. I don't really understand what that means, but I know that that's a little bit different than what Scripture says, because Scripture would say that marriage is not easily disposable. We were never meant to uncouple from the person that we became one with, right? And so in fact, when the Pharisees asked Jesus, hey, Jesus, why can people get divorced? He says, well, God never really wanted you to because it's painful and destructive. You know, he's like, we wrote in kind of an exemption of the law in case of adultery because we know that you guys have hard hearts. But God's plan was never for marriage to break up. And so if you're watching this, you either have not been married, are married, or were married. If you were married and were divorced, listen, divorce is a sin, but it does not define you. The cross defines you. Just because you were divorced does not exempt you from God's love and forgiveness, and does not mean that God cannot write a new chapter of redemption in your life, right? And so you can't change your past, but you can change your future. If you will be married, this is a topic that should sober you up as you think about marriage. It's a serious commitment. It's not disposable. And if you are married, this is a week that should remind you to fight for your marriage. Marriage isn't always easy. It does not always make you happy, but it is worth it to fight for your marriage because divorce is destructive. And so this week, I want us to take a really sobering look at divorce. I want us to risk vulnerability and authenticity with each other. And I want us to fight for restoration and healing in our marriages. The fastest way that Satan will destroy your family is to destroy your marriage. Let's protect our marriages and be a community that encourages restoration, encourages people to fight for their marriage, and encourage people to seek healing in God's will for their lives. Let's have a great week. Let's have a serious week, but let's have a week where we fight for our marriages and marriages.